So you have everything set up here. Let's see if this works here. Cool. I don't own this song. June's and Sham Trading Life Traders Anthem. I just want to play it for you guys and get you hyped up. Here we go.
I don't catch feelings, I just catch pips. When I trade floor, I make my trades flip. That's one trade, and I just made your whole mother and father's wage slip. I leave West End with a few expensive bags. I be selling stocks and then I buy it back. Then I hit the clubs and then I pull out. I got the tax man thinking I'm supplying crack. But I'm at the same place sitting at my desk, trying to buy the dollar and then I sell the yen. Exit the trade and then I take the profit. Then I pull out with my nigga tunes again. I heard the multi going up, so I caught more. I was in Dubai trading up on the top floors. I heard the euro still dropping, so I sold that shit. Au revoir, don't tell me about bonjour. You don't have to lie though. Why you put trader in your Insta bio? Don't make you a trader cause you got a free piece, new shoes and you're fucking with your tie low. These wannabe traders need to stop and pause. Maybe pips don't mean you know the rules. I've been doing this from where you met J.A. Well, forgot what I'm trying to do, they course. Trading lives in the trend no way. Analysis is good, so know the trading don't play. Yeah, I'm trading for the night, you know what nigga don't sleep. So we turn up every weekend, everything is on me. Might as well. Your niggas don't get money, you just lying well. And now I'm getting though you wanna be my wife girl. All the trading money going on the price high. Dumb nigga, just by yourself. Trying to find a type of trading that's right as well. But I'm also trying to help out all the clientele. Losing money, trying to make it back to nice style. But the question is the niggas in the bottom shelf.
Now y'all look money hungry, and that's good. Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't fucking happen. They say money can't buy happiness. Look at that fucking smile on my face. Ear to ear, baby.
I've been trading all day, all night, all day, nigga. I've been pushing many Guinnesses. All you niggas that be thinking like a fishy, well, I'm sorry, mate, cause I don't really think you know what fishy is. Gotta choose a good broker, no slippages. Yeah, this month's got me having better Christmases. Yeah, I'm something like Blade with how the business is. 5 figures in a day, I can witness it. 5 figures in a day, make me wanna shop, then I stop, count, cross shop, then I shop more. Like all up in the girl up in the shop floor. You cop 3 and I'm a cop 4, what for? No reason, running for every season. I'm the king of the trees, and my dog's gonna lock jaw. And you got pros, well, I've got more, and the time's top drawer, looking like an import shop drawer. This shit we eat, but fam, it's hard to achieve. See, some of these men deceive. You think I'm gonna believe him because he says that he trades and driving in a Mercedes. It's not because he cabs and what I'm making is raise. Niggas ain't on my waves, niggas ain't on my page. You can't do what I do in the race, and people behave. You tryna go up against me, you must be brave. I'm sending niggas to an early grave, hope you pray, cause trading lives and trading no way. Analysis is good, so know the trading don't play. Yeah, I'm trading for the night, you know what niggas don't sleep. So we turn up every weekend, everything is on me. Might as well. Your niggas don't get money, you just lying well. And now I'm getting though you wanna be my wife girl. All the trading money going on the flies high. Dumb nigga, just say why yourself. Trying to find a type of trading that's right as well. But I'm also trying to help out all the clientele. Losing money, trying to make it back to nice style. But the question is the niggas gonna buy or sell.
Alrighty, guys.
Get my pips and lead them more.
What's going on? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It's kind of one of those songs I used to play. So let's go ahead and go over today's trading day, okay? I just got my hair cut. I know you guys are noticing that. What's going on? Thanks, Moj. Ricardo, what's going on? Usually the market's even hotter in the winter. All right, let's give it about 10 more seconds or so before we kind of get started here. Oh, let me go live on TikTok. What's going on, 355? All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go over today's trading day, okay? as you guys can see, right out of the gates, we took game, and that was a nice and easy little winner. I bought the dip down in here at 207 right in here. And then I sold the top for a $32,000 winner on game, literally in like a minute and a half. You can see that there. SCSN, I ended up taking a loser on. I had 396,000 shares at 105 right in here. And then it went all the way down to 103, which is unfortunate. Let's see, UPST we ended up selling off on one of these spikes here. Let's just go over the big trade of the day. Well, first off, TCAT. TCAT was one that I ended up buying in here. I bought in pieces down in here, and you can actually see here. So I bought, you can see what's going on. User, Ian Jones, Jake, let's go Joey Dallas, the Electric Man. All right, guys. So, you know, this thing has just continued to surprise me and surprise me and surprise me, right? So we had a nice little perk down in here, and then we had a perk up, and then this thing consolidated down in here, and then it had another perk through highs and tremendous volume. And that to me was like, what the heck? Like, this was a new kind of hot market that we entered, seeing this kind of move with that volume, and then this volume, and then that volume, right? So I started to kind of buy in here. You can see me buying in here in pieces and in here in pieces, and then I sold the rip right in here. So like right as this was peaking out, my sells I wanted at $12, but I saw the tape kind of starting to slow down, and it looked like it was teetering, topping out. So I said, hey, let's go ahead and take it off. I know it was a couple cents before, but we took it off right at the top there, and luckily we did, because it struggled the rest of the day to kind of get back up to those levels. I mean, we had a little piece here and a little piece here, but it still struggled the rest of the day to get back up there. So there's that. And then the big trade of the day, guys, RGC. So RGC, we made two nice solid trades on it, okay? And this was my number one watch going into today. It was, and I didn't really love to see, like, I was actually excited. I woke up a little bit pre-market, and I actually got up early today. And the reason why I got up early, because I felt like today was going to be a hot day. And the reason why I felt like it was because we saw AMC go crazy yesterday, and then we had game there. So let's look at AMC yesterday, right? So big, huge liquidity ripper, and then we had game do the same thing, right? And then we had, there was another runner, TKT yesterday, it started to perk up, it showed some volume, showed some life, and then we had a re-break of those highs today, so that was another reason why I thought the market was going to be hot. Seeing all these runners and these rippers, right? It really gave me a sense of where the market's starting to churn, and it just felt different than the past month. So I said, all right, let's, I got up early. I was expecting to be aggressive. I was expecting to see something, and my number one watch on the day was RGC. Now, seeing this huge rip and run, I was actually disappointed on seeing that. I really didn't want to see that end up happening because it went from 18 straight up to 39, right? But then it was consolidating in here, and I couldn't get any comfortability in this initial run-up, right? Because we just ripped at 6 o'clock, we ripped straight up from 18 all the way up to 39 as the highs, and then it halted. And then it halted back down. So you can see here, it was churning. But I needed to see the bigger picture. I needed to see the way this was going to unfold throughout the morning process. The only way I was going to play this in the morning is if we started to break these lows, right? And then get a re-break of those lows. And that was my plan. So the plan was a re-break of these lows and then a re-break through the highs of those lows, if that makes sense. So a break down under those lows and then a re-break through the lows, which was 29.30. Okay? So we broke them down beneath, but we ripped right back up, right? So we ripped right back up, seeing those lows break, and then we re-ripped through the highs, okay? And then seeing this here, re-rip again, I started to take entries. I started to get a little bit of size down in here, and then the real size was in here. And you can see I nailed the RGC trade. You can see me, if we go back and scroll through it here, you can see me taking pieces in here, and in here, and in here, and in here, and then I finally sold off this pop right there, okay? And then I said, okay, this has a chance, but I'm going to I made, $98,000 on that rip right there. I went from being down like 30 or 40,000 on the day to being up 40 or 50,000 on the day, right? And then I let the chart kind of pan out. And it actually rebroke VWAP and then rebroke above. And right in here, I took a starter. You can see RGC right there. 4,000 shares at 34.31. So there was my average on this white line in here. And then it ripped, and I sold it into the rip for a $21,000 winner. And then I ended up stopping out of my initial starter on RGC. I got a little too aggressive in the consolidation at $50. I stopped out. But this is where I started to accumulate my bigger position, okay? My bigger position accumulation was all in here. And you can see how many times I accumulated, right? I mean, you can see in here. I started to accumulate on the way down, and I accumulated this entire consolidation, basically. Every time we had somewhat of a wash, I was taking 300 shares at a time. 300, 300, 300, 300, 300, 300, 300. And then the reason why I like this, because not only was it my number one wash, and it was a lower float, that was another thing, but the fact that we rebroke these lows and we had a nice gap up through pre-market was a reason why I kind of liked it. Now, rebroke the highs. You can see we rebroke the highs here, and then we held those highs. You can see $27 was the high. We held those highs at $27.60, and then we started to make that next leg, that next move, as well as I could just see with AMC, GameStop, and Clove and Wish, and then TCAT that the market was getting hotter. There was becoming more and more FOMO. There was becoming more and more chase out there. This was one where I felt really comfortable with it. I played this kind of midday consolidation, and I really liked the way this thing. The reason why I was starting to take big size in here is because it ran really early. It ran at like 10:30 Pacific Standard, which is 11, 12, 1:30 Pacific Standard, Eastern Standard, right? That's generally pretty early at this time of day right here. So I was like, okay, well, this is definitely running and ripping earlier than I expected. Even I was expecting like 11, 11:30, maybe 12. But we already had a nice $15 a share rip and run, basically straight up. Now, you can see here and in here and in here, this thing is a spiker, meaning it is known to spike. It's shown it can do it multiple times. In here, in here, in here, right? Even prior to this date, you can see it spike in here very quickly. And then you can see the spike in here, okay? So, it's known to spike. So in this consolidation, we started to retake these lows in here. Then we started to reclaim VWAP right in here. And once we broke VWAP, we had a nice rip and run. And then this thing broke down beneath VWAP, and then we had the next run. Now this pop right here enabled me to say, hey, this just popped huge. We weren't selling off in here. It just kept feeling like people were soaking in here. The level 2 and the time and sales were really saying soak. Multiple times it tried to hold down, and the buyers kept soaking this consolidation. It tried multiple times to soak, to break down, and it just couldn't. There was too many buyers. This thing just immediately, I'm in 27,000 shares. I'm in with an average of 46.93.8. So in here, I'm kind of a little down at some points. But we start to go red-green on my account. And this thing, I'm up 150,000 instantly. Instantly in the position, this thing does exactly what I think it's going to do, which is kind of perks, and then we get the real volume right there. And then we kind of retest the highs. Multiple times it tried to break down. No breakdown. Straight rip back up. And right in here, it was a third re-break. So we had the first break of the highs, the second break of the highs, the third break of the highs, and the fourth break of the highs, right? So on that fourth break, I said, you know what? My plan in this entire position was I wanted to see it get halted and then make a big gap up. And that was going to be where I would sell off, right? That was my plan all along in this position. But it just it was taking a lot of volume. It was churning a ton of shares at that price. And so it just wasn't quite making that churn, that push, that kind of rapid move where it kind of pushes into the halt and then makes that gap. And on the fourth re-break of the highs, I said, you know what? This isn't moving how I would like it. I was hoping for like a 59.80 halt, and then we'd make a 60 halt, and then we'd gap to like 70. and maybe even go 70s, 80s, 90s, and just start holding up, right? We've seen that with, was it Elfin? Yeah, I mean, you can't even see it anymore. But it was basically just like hold, or like BPTH. I think this is one where it just halted. But anyways, that's kind of what I was looking for on RGC. And as soon as I saw the fourth re-break, no hold, tape was churning, not enough, not the push and not the tape that I was liking, I took it all off. Okay? And so we nailed a $287,000 winner there to make it a $392,000 day. We're closing in on a $2 million account now, guys. We're at a $1.7 million account. It feels good to be back. It feels good to have some kind of, huge ripper and runner with some solid liquidity. This is the market that we exceed in and excel in, and I just continue to want to push towards that. So I'm going to answer the first three questions starting now. The first three questions, okay? I also want to make an announcement. A lot of you guys have been asking, for sales. Okay, I'm doing one, all right? I've decided if you buy the Trade Ideas yearly subscription, okay, if you buy the Trade Ideas yearly subscription, I will give you 35% off the course, okay? I just put the link right there, okay? Why do you do such in-depth analyzing of your paper trade account? Mitch Z, it's not a paper trading account. Business Insider fully verified me. You can go ahead and read the article. No reason to even try and talk about it because there's no point. Just read the Business Insider article. How long were you learning curve to be consistent and profitable? Probably took me about a year full-time studying. What's the right time to cut losses? That's such a loaded question. I have decided if you buy Trade Ideas, the discount will be, so test drive 25. A lot of you guys did the trial of Trade Ideas. If you use my link and sign up for either the premium yearly or the standard yearly, I will give you another 35% off my course. So if you send me the link to your receipt, which I've had some people do, of the premium yearly or the standard yearly, I will give you another 35% off the course. Okay? So I'm doing that sale for you guys. So if you buy and you have to use that link. If you do not use the link, you won't show up under my affiliate link, and then you will not qualify for the 35% off. You have to use that link. Okay, click that link, test drive 25, all caps, which will give you 25% off the Trade Ideas, as well as if you buy the yearly premium or standard, I will give you another 35% off my course as well. Zephyr, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, Zephyr. Number one book you read to help you. I don't really have not a huge winner. I mean, I'm not a huge book reader. By Tim Grover, look up Winner. That's one that I have bought. Look up Winner. That's one that I've bought. Why isn't your channel blowing up? You're one of the best traders. TikTok, they shadowed me, which is fine. At the end of the day, people see me. They can be inspired. They can be motivated. That's the goal. I hope that a lot of people are learning from me, and that's why I do this. I hope that a lot of people can learn from me. I want to be the person that I never had for you guys. And if TikTok would allow me to open up to the community, I feel like I could help a lot more people, but I realize that this industry is a very sketchy industry. It's full of people who are there's people that try and scam my accounts. They're trying to get people to use my name, and they send them crypto payments. Guys, I'm not going to ask for any money. I'm not going to reach out to you and say, hey, how are you? I don't have time for that, okay? So that's not me. It's a scam. But this industry is finance is a very sketchy industry. But I try and be open and transparent to all of you guys about what I'm doing. And I'll never lie to you guys. That's just never what I'm always going to be transparent. My reputation means so much to me. How many accounts did you blow up? You look great. Yeah, people keep saying you look like a millionaire. You look rich today. Well, it's funny because the day that I make $392,000, I'd look like that, but I didn't plan that. I feel like we need to see the charts. Okay, Andrew, tomorrow I will show you my charts. My bad on TikTok. How do you research trades for next day? I go back through and look at the top gainers and losers. I also just have a bunch of chat rooms that I'm in. I go on YouTube. I have the number one thing is the scan. The scanner spotted RGC yesterday when it was gapping up, and that ended up being my number one watch just because it was popping up on the scanner. I like the way it was setting up. So a lot of it just mainly is my scanner. Appreciate that, Alan. What are your main indicators? VWAP. That's about it. What scanner do you use? I use Trade Ideas. Later, guys. Michi was featured in my TikTok video today. She was on my lap, but decided I made too much money and had to jump off. She said, "You made this much money and I don't get any more treats? You make all this money and you don't give me any treats?" Well, that's because I don't want you to be fat. I want you to be a healthy kid. Oops. Alright, guys. I appreciate you guys supporting the NormagnalTrading.com community. Again, guys, if you buy Trade Ideas using that link, it's also in the link in my bio, which is 25% off using Test Drive 25, the premium yearly or the standard yearly. You will also get, if you DM me this receipt, I will give you 35% off my course. Okay? Appreciate you guys. Cheers, team, and go Hawks.